Hello everybody, my name is Emily Carter and I work for Art Bytes. I'm actually a practicing artist and I used to be an art teacher for 15 years in a secondary school. So I thought I would put together this little PowerPoint and just a bit of information for any primary teachers who may be struggling with what they might like to do to submit their artwork. Now, just to bear in mind that the deadline will be coming up shortly, and you have up to 30 pieces of artwork that you can submit. You don't have to do all 30. It could be that you are in an art club, or it could be you do something after school, or something else with the kids. So it might be that you not have all 30, but if you are the Year 5 teacher and you are working with a big class, then you might want to submit the whole class. It doesn't matter if all of the pictures are from the same project, so they all look very similar. That's absolutely fine. And you can do most medias. So you could look at monoprinting, you could look at painting, drawing, you could do a little bit of textile, you could do sculptures, and I've got lots of different examples of different artists and techniques that you could look at just through this PowerPoint that I'm going to show you. And as I show you, I'm just going to talk through it. So I'm also going to put some captions along the bottom so that if you are reading it, then it's easy to access, so that you can watch the PowerPoint and see what I'm talking about as well, because I'll give you lots of different ideas as we go through the different things. Now, I'm recording this in January, and the deadline will be coming soon, so just to bear in mind that you could try these techniques. They might run alongside your scheme of work, or they might be able to fit into different schemes of work. Now, from the primary school schemes of work that I've seen, it tends to be very famous artists like Andy Warhol and Matisse and Van Gogh and all of these. Again, these are all men, but I've added some women into this as well. And just to think about that, you don't have to use that specific artist. Now, I've also done transition work with primary schools and CPD and all this kind of stuff. So although your scheme of work might say Andy Warhol, for example, I'm sure if you spoke to your art lead then and you wanted to change it to a different portrait artist, I'm sure that would be fine. But always check with whoever you're working with. So I'm going to just swap the screen over so that you can see my PowerPoint. And as I said, I'm going to talk through this just so that it's easier for you. So first one then, there we go. So the first part of this is that we are just looking at this image here. Now, I put this together when we were working with the Superpower of Looking. Now, if you haven't looked at the Superpower of Looking website, do look at it because it's got a load of information on there that helps with teaching children art and creativity. Now, as you know, Art Bytes is very passionate about this. As an art teacher, I am very passionate about this. That children should be able to access all of these different creative opportunities. And I've just put together some here that are they're really effective, but also very simple. So they would look tremendous, like really cool. I've done them, all of these before in classes, and they look really good. So first off, it could be that you look at this image, and this is on the Superpower of Looking website. All the information is just down the bottom here. It could be that you do a little bit of photography, take some pictures of the children. We then used to upload them onto the system and just do a quick edit on them and print out some black and white images of all the children. Then all of these embellishments over the top could be with paper, they could be with Posca pens. If you've not heard of Posca pens, they're like an acrylic pen that are really vibrant. This could even be stitching, so it could be, you could do some sewing and motor skills with them. Yeah, so you can get some really lovely ones. This could even be collage as well, so you could use magazines and start putting them over the top of them. Another good artist that does that is I've forgotten her name. That's it, Maria Rivens. So if you look at Maria Rivens, she is a collage artist and she does some beautiful black and white images of men and women, and then they've got all of these different elaborate headdresses on, all from collage. Really simple for the children to access, but look really effective. The next ones are these ones just underneath here, and I've just put this little image on here to show you how simple it is. So you basically take a picture of the child in your class, you then get a piece of tracing paper and you draw over the top. This could be either tracing paper or acetate. You draw the outline over the top of it, and then if they've done this background behind, they could do any background on there. So it could be a collage background with different papers, it could be printing background, it could be paint where they've just expressed themselves with different colours and paintbrushes, and then they just layer this over the top. And this is kind of the outcome. You can see here that they've actually painted on the acetate all these different colours, and in the background they've got this lovely pattern work. Really simple to do. So do bear that in mind. I'm trying to pick things that are really simple for you. Next one, if you haven't heard of them before, this is John Bergerman, and the kids absolutely love this artist, as you can see. Why? Now, it might look very cartoony to you, and you might be thinking, oh, well, I don't want to be putting that forward for an art competition. But you could develop this in your own way. So, for example, what I used to do with the kids at school is, yes, take some of these characters, but how about doing them in a different type of media? So this is doing it with watercolour, and all we did was we drew or painted different patterns and very basic shapes of creatures underneath. You let all of that dry off, and then you get a black fine liner and you go over the top and you start creating some of the monsters that are there. And you can see how they start to interlock each other. Again, another really effective one, and how you can put all these little bits of details like the pattern work. They could have hair, they could have spikes. You could have loads of fun with this one. It's great, great artist. Next one you've probably heard of, which is Matisse. But the reason why I've put this together is because it's really accessible, especially for those children who have not got great motor skills or are just not very confident with their work. So you could do really simple shapes like this one here, or something very complex like this. And it's relating it back to nature and looking at seaweed, looking at seashells, coral, all of those natural forms. You could look at leaves, you could look at trees, and simplifying those beautiful basic shapes on there. So if you've got a scheme of work that is saying nature art, or look at things that are around you, or world art, all that kind of stuff, you could take different objects from around the world or from different places in nature. If you're next to nature and your school is near a forest or the sea, go and take them and get some pieces, bring them back, or you could even go and collect them. That's what I used to do. I used to go and collect loads of different bits off the beach, and then the children can just draw the basic outline of these shapes, and that informs these basic shapes. And all this is just layering. So you would start with your first layer, and then you would start with the second layer. So this first layer here is orange, then they've layered it with white over the top, and then they've put these black stars over the top of that. So you can see how effective that would be. Next one is Judith Scott. Now she's a beautiful artist, and some of these sculptures are absolutely gorgeous. And she was a twin sister, and she had Down syndrome, and everyone thought that she couldn't do anything. This is way back. And her sister spent all of her time with her, and she didn't like the way that her mental health was depleting. So she tried to get her into various schools and different things, and in the end she decided to put her into an art school. So she went into this art school, and they discovered that she absolutely just loved making sculptures. And she would use all of these bits of threads and plastics and everyday objects, and these are all things that you could just collect and bring in. You might even already have them in school. And she just started to create these gorgeous sculptural pieces. Now just bear in mind, if you are wanting to do something similar to this, because there's a whole thing on her, she's got some beautiful pieces, and she's been in loads of galleries and things, is thinking about how you're going to photograph it. So you could put a bit of black paper behind it or a bit of white paper behind it and use a smartphone or an actual camera if you've got one in school. Try it with the flash on. If that doesn't work, try it with maybe some lamps set up or like a torch or something that somebody could shine onto it so they can get some really nice effective pictures, which would work really well. So again, another accessible piece here. I put this one in because some people say about budgets and art equipment and all this kind of stuff, and this is very simple. This is coffee, and all it is getting your grains of coffee, mixing it with water, and obviously the more grains that you put in, the darker it goes and the less is lighter. But you could do some really beautiful little paintings, just looking at your light tones and looking at your dark tones. So if the children in your class are quite good with painting and they like painting, then do that. And could it be that they trace an image beforehand? So could that be a traced image rather than you having to draw all of these out? Or the fact that the children might be overwhelmed by having to draw all of them out, and confidence and all that kind of thing. So just trace the image, but actually use the coffee technique to do that over the top. This one's always beautiful if your school is near somewhere where you can access a bit of nature. So it could be that the children collect different objects, and then you could actually arrange these in mandala ways. So this is a mandala here. So it's lots of symmetry, looking at mathematics, all that kind of thing. But you can get some beautiful shapes, and then imagine taking pictures of that, and that would be the picture that you submitted for the session. You've got rock balancing. Again, look at both of these pictures here. They've just taken them as an eye view using a smartphone, and they've got that beautiful piece. Again, that could be included as your art piece. This one is foot mosaics. Then you've got like different creatures, maybe looking at snakes. Andy Goldsworthy's a really good artist to look at for this. Using natural things that they find to create new pieces of artwork. Even drawing things in the sand. You know, could you submit one of those? Could be quite interesting. A mixture of sand and rocks, maybe. So I hope that those different pieces there have helped. If you do get stuck and you really don't know what to do, then you can just email me. It's emily@artbytes.co.uk. And if you've got any questions with regards to maybe different media that you could use, etc., or I can give you some examples of possible artists that you could look at, then do feel free to do that. Yeah, I think that was it. So if you need anything generally, then it's hello@artbytes.co.uk. I'm the coordinator for the North, so I'm in East Midlands, West Midlands, Yorkshire and the North East. You've got Emma, who is down south, and you've got Carolyn, who's over in the northwest. So if you need any more information, please let me know and we can help you. Ciao for now.